Hey, I'm Alan with REI, and I'm here to help you how to choose running shoes. Help you decide. Am I holding the shoes in a weird way? Do I really like that part of running? I don't know. Is medial too jargony? Yeah, that's a lot of words. And you may just like the movement of the ground underneath you. That feels like the floor is lava. The ground's not moving. What was it? Jesus, stumbling over words. Hey, I'm Alan with REI, and I'm here to help you decide how to choose road running shoes. Getting into running can feel a little daunting. When I started getting into running, one of the first things I thought about is how to be more comfortable doing it. Running can be really fun, and the gear can really amplify that experience. Today, I'm here to make that a little bit easier for you and get you into the right gear that's best for your run. Today, we'll be talking about support levels, cushioning types, and heel-to-toe drop, which I consider to be the three main factors in helping decide what shoes to buy. Make sure you check out our video on how to fit and size running shoes, as fit is the most important thing in deciding what footwear to buy. All right, that felt easier, I think. Yeah. So let's talk about support. Support comes in three categories. There's neutral, which lets your shoe, this is a shoe. There's neutral, which means that the midsole lets your foot land the way it naturally would land, like this shoe. There's stability, which means that there's a few structured features that allow your foot to come back more to a normal position if you pronate, like you can see in this shoe here. Then there's motion control, like this shoe here. It's got a guide rail to help correct severe overpronation and get your foot back to a more normal position. So we use that word pronation a few times, but what does that word mean? You may have heard it tossed around here and there, and maybe it sounds like a scary word. Pronation is the natural movement that your foot and ankle make when your foot hits the ground during a run. Normally, your foot and ankle would hit the ground and roll in a little bit. If your foot and ankle roll in a little bit, you probably have a neutral gait. That helps you absorb a little bit of the impact during your run. If your foot and ankle roll in more than 15 degrees, that would be categorized as overpronation. Does that feel like pronation? Yeah. If you have a neutral gait, this neutral shoe would be pretty solid. If you overpronate, it might be helpful to get something with a guide on it, like a stability shoe, to help with that overpronation. We do have motion control shoes that are for folks that have severe overpronation. So if you've been referred to by a doctor, that probably sounds like you have a bad case of something. If your doctor has recommended a more structured shoe to help you with your severe overpronation, then a shoe like the Brooks Beast with its guide rails can be really helpful. If overpronation goes unchecked for too long, it can lead to injuries. The last category is what we call supination. Some runners supinate, which means that when their foot lands, it actually rolls to the outside. In that case, a neutral shoe with a little bit more stack height, with more cushion, I keep wanting to say stack height, it's too jargony. If you're in that category of runner, then a neutral shoe with a little bit more cushion could be helpful. So let's talk about a quick and easy way to help you decide what level of support you need. If you grab a pair of old worn shoes from home and you look at the tread pattern, you can kind of see where it wears most, and it'll kind of help you decide which way you strike. If you look at these shoes, you can see that there's a little bit more wear on the outside heel and on the balls of my feet. That means that probably when I run, that I'm a little bit of a neutral runner, which is probably good because I'm in a neutral shoe. If you look at your shoe and you notice that there's wear patterns on the inside of the heel and underneath the ball of your foot, it might mean that you overpronate and you land inward when you land. Overpronation would probably lead you to get a stability shoe. If you look at the bottom of your shoe and you start to realize that the wear is a little bit more on the heel of your shoe and the outside of your toe box, it probably means that you land outwards or you supinate. In that case, it's probably best to go with a neutral shoe that has a little bit more cushion. When I first started running, I bought the shoe that all my friends had. I didn't even realize it was a stability shoe. It wasn't until somebody showed me that wear pattern trick that I noticed I was more of a neutral runner. I bought a pair of neutral running shoes next time around, and I could not believe how much better I felt on my runs. If a lot of this still sounds like you're right in the middle or you're not really sure where you land, feel free to come into any REI store and talk to one of our green vests. So let's talk about cushioning. Cushioning usually comes in three different categories. You got the barefoot minimalist, which really means that there's about 3 to 4 millimeters underfoot or very little cushioning there. You have the moderate category, which is what most running shoes fall into, which means it has a pretty good amount of cushion. You can still feel the ground a little bit. Then you have the maximum cushion shoe, which means you have the most amount of cushion and you feel like you're running on clouds. So let's get into barefoot and minimalist styles of shoes. In these styles, you have a little bit less cushion connecting you to the ground, which means that you get to feel a little bit more of the run. These are my barefoot sandals, and barefoot sandals usually have about 3 to 4 millimeters of rubber between you and the ground, and that's it. I know that I really enjoy running in sandals when I really want to feel, what do I want to feel? Why do I like it? Well, it's funny because I only use it on trail, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it right now. Like, it feels good to be connected on trail in sandals. On road, it's a bummer. Maybe we can say like less cushioned shoes, you feel more of the run and your response time can be a little bit faster, right? Is that fair? Because like you can feel the things. I really like this sensation when I'm feeling faster on my runs, when I'm feeling a little bit more enthusiastic, because I can feel everything underneath me and my response times tend to be a little bit quicker. Most running shoes fall into the moderate category. In this category, you have a pretty good amount of cushion underfoot, which means that you feel the ground a little bit, but mostly you're feeling that midsole and it's helping you stay comfortable along your run. Moderate category is a great workhorse shoe. It's a great shoe to just kind of log your normal runs in. It keeps you happy running over lots of miles and is a great shoe for day in, day out. Then you have the maximum cushion shoe. This shoe is for when you don't want to feel anything underfoot, and it really helps you feel like you're running on clouds thanks to the amount of generous cushioning that they're giving you underfoot. Some folks can say that they feel a little too mushy in this shoe. A little too mushy in the shoe? Is that what we're saying?
I mean, how would you describe it?
In the cush, I think is kind of what you said. That's kind of cool, but in the squish, yeah. I mean, I love the Bondis for a recovery run. When my legs hurt and I run 2 miles in the Bondis, my legs stop hurting. But I get what you're saying, you do feel a little bit slower. These shoes are great when you don't want to feel anything underfoot. Just feel like you're running on clouds. The amount of cushion that it provides really helps me feel good on my recovery runs when I've had a long week of running. I know that I'm not focused on speed because I definitely feel a little bit slower, but it definitely makes me feel good to kind of cruise through my run on those days. I tend to rotate my footwear throughout the week. Some days I'll wear my barefoot sandals and feel really connected to the ground. And some days when I'm feeling just like I can barely get out the door, I'll pull out my Max Cushion shoes. Is that disparaging to people in Max Cushion shoes? If like I can barely get out the door. And remember, anytime you're changing your cushion level, you want to take it a little bit slow and give your body some time to adapt. If you're really concerned, you should check with your doctor first. So let's talk about drop. Heel to toe drop, often referred to just as drop, is the difference in height between the heel of the shoe and the forefoot of the shoe. So you can see here, this is a Brooks Adrenaline, more traditional style of running shoe, and there's about a 12mm difference between the heel and the forefoot. This is an Ultra Torin, and you can see that there's actually pretty uniform height, and there's actually a 0mm difference between the heel and the forefoot of the shoe. So shoes with a lower drop, anywhere usually from about 0 to 6mm, tend to encourage a more natural strike. Usually has to do with the uniformity of the weight between the heel and the toe, and it allows your foot to land closer to the front of your foot or the mid part of your foot. Shoes with a higher drop tend to have a little bit more weight in the heel and can encourage a heel strike. Do you want me to say anything or just do this?
Just for a close-up. There's something oddly sensual.
The important thing to realize here is that there's no right way to land on your feet. Everybody's got a different natural way to land, and that's okay. You really want to choose a running shoe that helps you feel comfortable in your natural strike. If you're really not sure which way your foot lands when you run, take some time on your next run to really help hone in on if your heel lands first, your midfoot, or your forefoot. I know that when I started running, I was in a higher drop shoe, but the more I learned about form and strike, I realized I was landing on my toes. I transitioned to a lower drop shoe and started to feel more comfortable on my longer distance run. If you're looking to transition between drop types, remember to give your body some time to adapt. Oftentimes, if you're going to a lower drop shoe from a higher drop shoe, you may feel extra strain in your body. If you're going from a lower drop shoe to a higher drop shoe, the same can be true. Remember to check with your doctor first if you're concerned. Remember, it's all about comfort. So whether you're a heel striker, midfoot striker, or forefoot striker, it's all about what feels best for you.
I feel so supported right now.
So we've covered support categories, cushioning types, and heel to toe drop. Hopefully that helps you narrow down your next pair of road running shoes. Should we be hopeful about it? Size and fit are still the most important thing in helping you finalize your buying decisions, and I encourage you to watch our video on that.
Salutations.
Or another word.
Yeah, do you want me to just say like, thanks for watching? Is that kind of a deal? Thanks for watching and enjoy your run. That feels like a weird way to wrap it up.
Fired. Oh my God.
Oh man.